Unacademy. Let's crack it.
But it's also about practice and the calmness that you bring to the table during those 3 odd hours of the examination. So for me, I started yoga. Every day I started, at least 20-30 minutes of yoga. And I considered it as a very important part of my preparation, my overall preparation. And that helped me a lot. Again, going with an example, when I started with my LRDI section, the most dreaded one, for the first 15-20 minutes, I was not able to solve any question, and I had jumped from one set to the other. At least 3 sets I had gone through. But then that calmness helped me. I thought that, okay, let's get back to the strategy. Let's solve, 1 or 2 questions from each set. And that is what I did, and I was able to, get through that section.
So guys, there is something that even you all think. आपको लगता है MBA करना is something which is totally out of your reach. Why? Because these days the colleges, especially the tier 1 colleges, charge you a pretty hefty amount. Then there is this thought in your mind, is it worth doing it, or can we just do something else and walk away with that experience? So I'm talking about ROI. Fine. So here the third myth is MBA expensive, or is it actually something which is not worth doing? So guys, what do you have to say? Let's start with you this time, Sakshi.
Sure. So MBA definitely is expensive, I'd say. I'd start with this so that you guys don't come up jumping on me saying that 20-30 lakhs, don't you think it's not enough? So definitely 20-30 lakhs are a lot. But as ma'am said, we should be talking about ROI and not just the money. What do you get out of it? If you invest 20 odd lakhs in doing your postgraduate, then what are you getting out of it? I'd say for me, it was definitely worth it. I look at it from 2 perspectives. One, the learning perspective, and one, once I'm out of MBA, now what am I doing? Would I be able to justify for the 20 lakhs that I've spent? So firstly, talking about the learning, as I said earlier as well, definitely it's a totally worthy experience. You get to meet a lot of experienced, non-experienced, like-minded people who have different caliber, different strengths, and you learn a lot of things from each individual there.
But do you need to pay actually 20 lakhs for that kind
Yes,
of
definitely.
experience?
Where would you find that community where you can, be with them for 2 long years and learn with them? In an MBA, everything is done in groups. As you mentioned earlier, that you should be telling your professors that we should be working in groups. But once you go into MBA college, you realize that everything is an interaction. It's not a one-way communication. It's always a 2-way communication where you are interacting with your peers, your professors, and getting insights out of it. So if I look back before my MBA, what I was as an individual, and post MBA, I have changed a lot.
So it was a growth to your overall personality.
Absolutely.
Now that is the experience part, Sakshi.
Exactly.
But if we talk about the ROI part, actually,
I'll come to that now.
Yeah.
So if I talk about the ROI, then most of you would be, actually looking for average salary packages of this IIM, that IIM. I'm sure that you must have done one Google search about this in some point of your preparation. Let me tell you, all IIM colleges, especially talking about the tier 1 and tier 2 colleges, they definitely have good placements, and you are, if you have been consistent, you are definitely going to land up in your dream company doing a job at a very good pay scale, and you will be able to, even if you've taken a loan or if you haven't, you are going to pay for that 20-30 odd lakhs in maximum 2 to 3 years, or if you've taken a loan, max to max 5 to 6 years, depends upon you completely, because again I would not comment on that, but you realize after 2 years that those 20 lakhs were nothing. And if you had not done that MBA, if you had been continuing on in your previous job or doing whatever that you liked to do, I'd say that it will take you at least 4 to 5 years to reach to that position where you will be after doing your MBA. So that MBA gives you an instant boost, I'd say. And you will definitely be able to cover those 20-30 odd lakhs that you have spent on your MBA. So definitely it is on a little expensive side, but it will be worth it. I'd say that. So that is my 2 cents about it.
Okay. What about you, Costa?
As she said, yes. I mean, it is expensive. Everybody knows that. For example, I'm giving around 25 to 30 lakhs for an MBA. You know, everybody will think twice before giving it. But then again, if you see about the average salary after that, you know, correctly said by her, you can, if you haven't taken a loan, you can definitely, get that ROI in the next 1, 2, max to max 3 years,
Right.
and even if with the loans in 5 years. So MBA is more like a boost, as she said. It's correct. The term is perfectly fits it. It boosts your income at a cost, right? Now you have to justify it, and I think getting a good ROI in 2-3 years is justifiable for me. And it's not just money, right? So you have made those connections that will help you in the future also. So sometimes your friends would be in diverse areas in their life, right? Some would be doing great, some not. They help each other, right? It's not just about your salary at that time, and also the things that you've learned there. So I'd say it is worth doing it.
Okay.
Definitely.
It's not as expensive as we think it is, or like,
Yes, it's not as expensive as it sounds just by the cost of it.
What about you?
So I think the word expensive in itself is a very relative word. So for example, an iPhone can be expensive for someone and it could be very cheap for the other person. So having said this, doing an MBA from a tier 1 college, definitely it will land you a good salary. The fees is also high, but most probably in all likelihood you will be able to recover that fees from a span of 1 to 2 years of time. So that is the scale for me. So if, for example, if you are very much concerned about the ROI, which is, I think you should be. So in that case, from a mathematical point of view, you can kind of take a scale of 1x to 2x. If you are able to recover your fees in that period of time, then it is fine, go for it. For other cases, there are multiple colleges which offer you an MBA. They charge you a fees of, say, for example, 20 lakhs, but the average placement would be 4 or 5 lakhs. In that case also, you have to take a conscious call. I am not saying that MBA from that college is not going to add value to your, lifestyle. It might, again help, because see, again, there are a lot of MBA aspirants, and for everyone it is not possible to kind of crack the topmost colleges every time. It doesn't mean that MBA from other colleges would not make sense. They would, but then you have to make a choice that whether you are able to spend that much amount of money for, the kind of package that you are most probably able to get from that college.
Right.
So that choice is something that a person has to make depending upon their family or their current situation, whatever they are.
Correct, right, got it. So here I like the point that he said that it is subjective, actually, the word expensive. Guys, have we been able to smack down this myth? Let me just show it to you in a very simple way. आप इसको ऐसा सोचो कि you want to meet, let's say, 100 people with like great minds, top minds, with broad perspectives, with a lot of ability, great caliber. You want to meet these like-minded individuals. तो इनको मिलने के लिए आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? You'll have to go to Delhi, you'll have to go to Bangalore, you'll have to go to various other places. You'll have to invest in certain courses and then come up with that networking, come up with that growth. यहाँ क्या हो रहा है? If you invest in a good tier 1 college, you are getting this entire network thing served to you on a plate. So as they said that the journey also matters. Like the destination, you're going to land yourself a plum job, that is fine, that is something that all of us want at the end of the day. But the thing is, the journey also matters. So you are getting a great experience. You're getting a great networking thing with all these like-minded people, which is going to be there with you for life. And then if you stay consistent throughout the journey, you will definitely land yourself a plum job, and as they said, you will be able to recover this over a period of 2 to 3 years, your loan, whatever you have taken. So yes, consider these things. ROI देखना है आपका, कैसे आपको करना है या नहीं करना है, do you have it in you to make it to these top IIMs, or you just want to kind of settle for the second best? It's all up to you. So anyway, I would definitely like to say here that it is a myth, and come out of it, guys. Just break that, bust that myth, come out of it, and I'm sure you'll be doing great in your future. So guys, we have smacked down 3 myths so far. These are the 3 most important ones that we had cherry-picked from a lot of other myths. And I'm not saying that what we have given you is carved in stone. You may or may not agree with this. You may have your own opinion. So we would love to hear that. आप क्या सोचते हैं इसके बारे में? Even you can ask your friends to just kind of let us know on this. How? In the description box, there's a link given there. Google link. Go down, it's a form. Fill that form and let us know your opinion on these 3 myths. Then, based on all the things that we get from the students, based on all the feedback, we are going to have another session by the 15th of this month. So stay tuned for that. And yes, before we wrap up, there's one more very interesting thing that I have for these 3 studs. इन लोगों ने पिछले राउंड में तो 3 वो कर लिया, मेरे 3 पोल्स क्रैक कर लिए. आप भी सोच रहे होंगे, no, they are like, one मैम को इन लोगों ने डाउन कर लिया. Wait, I'm coming up with this. Just hang in there. Okay, let me start with Kaustav this time. Kaustav, there is something which I have for you. I'm going to just give you a line. You have to complete it in a creative or humorous way. The more creative you are, the more humorous you are, the more we are going to like them, right? Okay, yes. So the sentence that I have for you is, in grade 4, my essay on cash cow would start like this. हम सब ने काउ पे लिखा था ना, गाय हमारी माता है, आगे कुछ नहीं आता है, या दूध देती है, या whatever. So my essay on cash cow would have started in which way?
Okay.
You can think about it for 10 seconds if you want.
So one day I found some cash lying at my house. Thankfully, my dad left some. I was really, I always went outside, saw those cattle, cows, wanted to get one, right? Didn't know how, but I thought cash could always get one, right? So I went, asked him, how much cash does it get? Does a cow, can I get a cow and how much cash? He said, 5 rupees. And I was like, yeah, I have 10. Please get me 2. And that's how I got my first cows.
Okay, so he got his first cow and he chose to call it cash cow. Okay, cool, that was great and I loved it. The next one I'll give to Sakshi. Okay, my startup is all about wigs.
Is all about, sorry.
Wigs, W-I-G-S. My startup is all about wigs. You can just reply in any way. I mean, you can maybe sell it in front of Shark Tank panel or whatever. You can just,
And get a funding.
yeah, get funding for that. So my startup is all about wigs.
But wigs, by wigs you mean the wigs that we wear?
Yeah.
Of course, the wigs that we will need to wear.
Need to wear.
Go on. Okay, Sakshi, so we are waiting.
Okay, so
My startup is all about wigs.
during my childhood, my grandmother used to, scare me that all my hair are going to fall down once I land up into an MBA college, probably due to stress. So, yeah, what I chose to do was start a startup where I could make natural wigs so that my friends could not make fun out of me.
And you can be prepared for your future.
Yeah. But guys, turned out that none of my hair have fallen down. MBA is awesome. There is stress, but definitely it's going to save your hair as well. But I'll save my startup for the future once I'm
Okay, that's pretty cool. Very nice. We loved it, didn't we, guys? Okay, that brings me to the last one. Now, your heart must be pounding. Kya puch rahe ho mere se, right?
Actually.
Okay, yeah, actually. Okay. What was Maslow thinking when he came up with his hierarchy?
Okay, so I think maybe Maslow was at the bottom of the pyramid at that point of time, so he very clearly had his priorities set. So yeah, but
Roti kapda makan.
so yeah, so that is something which we, now in these today's times, I think at least the bottom of the pyramid, a couple of things are figured out. But yes, to keep it going. What we think is, we have to crack IIM, we have to get a good salary to kind of keep on climbing that Maslow's hierarchy, and that is something, yes.
That was amazing. Claps for him. So guys, that brings me to the end of this session. We are going to wrap up, and Maslow hierarchy आपकी life में भी है. Right now you are somewhere in the middle. You are preparing for your CAT, you are going to appear for your exam, you are going to reach IIMs, you are going to get yourself a job. All this is fine. But please always target self-actualization. That's the end, the top point of the hierarchy, and all of us should target that. So break the myths, be happy guys. That's the most important thing. Calm down in life. Take it a little easy. No need to jump off the cliff if something doesn't work out for you. On that positive note, I sign out with loads of love. Thank you.